Hello Nippies, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, hello, I'm Nips, a freelance artist, and yes, today we're going to be doing a sponsored video by XPPEN. They were super generous to send me the Artist 15.6 Pro, and so I could review it, draw with it, let you guys know what I think about it. And I'm just so excited because I have used the same tablet company for like the last 12 plus years, and I've always wanted to get my hands on one of these because I keep hearing people say so many good things about them, and it was just about time that I finally gave it a go. So very excited to try this. Yeah, today we're going to be unboxing this so you guys can see what is inside of a typical XPPEN tablet package, and we're going to be drawing with it as well so you guys can see it in action and my thoughts on it. Here you can see, not super thick. The tablet itself is also not very heavy. It's got 8 shortcut keys here. I'm not somebody that has ever really used these much, but I really wanted to give these a spin today just for the sake of really just trying it out and using the tablet to its full potential. I love the wheel. We've got that lovely ASMR sound and feel if you're somebody that likes that. Feels super nice. On the other side, we've got the power button. We've got some very convenient brightness keys and buttons. And then we have the USB-C power port. The tablet also comes with port converters, and I absolutely love this because as somebody that just moved to Serbia from the US, a lot of my stuff needs converting until I, get everything with the Europe converters. And I just love that this is a little thing that they included. They absolutely don't have to do this. They could just have the basic standard, either US or Europe or Asia one, but they go out of their way to include all of them, and I love that. It's a small thing. They don't have to, but they do, and I really do appreciate it because it was a thought in my mind that when I got this tablet that I would have to buy an adapter in order to use it, and lo and behold, it comes with it. Now, the stand, it's only got one level here. It snaps on the back. It's not super high, which is not really for me, but otherwise it's very nice, very sturdy and practical. Here we have the pen. It comes in this very nifty, sturdy little holder box. It's got the buttons on the side, of course, and our little logo up top. Doesn't have the eraser thing that a lot of pens have. And the buttons, you can program the top and the bottom one to whatever you like. Of course, if you've used digital tablets before, you'll know that. They are a little bit lower than I like, but the pen, for the most part, is very nice and comfy. It's got all the spare nibs, and if you don't know how these work, if you are new to digital tablets, what happens is as you continuously use your pens, you might get some erosion on the nib at the bottom, and they're super easy to remove. Usually these holders will come with this little hole. You stick in the tip, kind of bend it, create some pressure, and out it comes. And it's got really a lot of nibs, and I've used a lot of tablets throughout my 10 plus years of drawing, and these nibs do not wear down nearly as fast as you'd think. And so all of these nib replacements are going to last you years upon years. I would be surprised if you went through all those nibs in less than 5 years. So very nifty, and you can put the pen, which I didn't show here, but you can stand the pen up on the cap as well, right next to your tablet. Here we have the guide. Very useful, just tells you how to handle everything, plugging it in, installing it, and we've got the screen cleaner as well as the glove. Now, these gloves, I'm not somebody who uses them quite often, I get super distracted by anything on my hand every time I draw. So this isn't super for me, but I tried it on anyway because I really wanted to give it a go, give it a feel, and it's just super comfortable. It's very lightweight, doesn't feel like it's going to make me sweat or kind of be in my way, other than the fact it's not super my size, but I can see why it might be like that. You really want to make sure that it can fit everybody. Then opening the cables up here, really glad that these are so clean, so thin, and very easy to kind of manhandle around your station. Finally getting ready to put the stand, set up my tablet, and really just give this baby a go. We're going to be doing a random character design doodle, and I'm just really excited to finally turn it on and give it a spin. We're just gonna do the moment of truth, getting rid of the laminating protection screen. We all know how good that feels. The first touch on the screen, very matte, very clean. The current tablet I'm using is not this matte, so it's definitely a new feeling for me. And the final moment of truth, plugging it in and seeing the screen just light up. There we go. So now we get to the drawing portion. I've put the tablet shortcuts there on the screen to show you guys how I use them. I set the bottom one to undo, the top one right on top of that one as redo, and then the wheel is the zoom. I was having a lot of trouble with the zoom function. I don't know if it was my driver or something. It just wasn't reading it, or the program, but it would zoom in but not out, and then it was just kind of glitching the whole way. So I'm thinking that it might just be me because my computer has a lot of issues with drivers, so can't really judge it on that. I go ahead and I zoom in here a little bit because I'm having issues with the exposure on the filming. So unfortunately, I'm not going to keep the keyboard, the tablet shortcuts in the screen. But so as I start drawing, I do my basics. I do the sketch, the composition, trying to get the wireframe of the drawing going. And one of the things that was really hard to get used to at first, of course, with anything new, is the pen pressure. The pen pressure is so different. I had to go into all my settings, into the XPPEN kind of configuration area, and work with the settings to kind of adjust to what I'm comfortable with. And then I had to go into Clip Studio Paint because Clip Studio Paint has its own settings as well, and to kind of adjust for what was comfortable for me. And then the extra layer was the pressure of the physical pen itself. Now, one of the things I really liked about it, which was very odd for me at first, was how bouncy the pen was. I have no idea how to word this. I guess it would just, bouncy is the best word I can find right now, but it feels like, I don't know, it just feels very like light, and it feels not like I'm drawing with a piece of metal. So when you press down on the tip, it like really goes down in not a, like in a very natural way, and it kind of pops back out. So it feels like if you press, you're really pressing on the pen. And that was something that I had to get used to because my other tablet pens do not do that. But once you get used to it, it has this very like cathartic, relaxing feeling when you're drawing, which I really, really liked. And the more I kept drawing, the more I started also to get used to the matte feeling of the screen. That's something that, again, my tablets don't really have. And I'm not used to feeling like I'm drawing on paper at all. But there was also something very cathartic about doing that. It's not my preference. I do kind of prefer something a little bit more glossy. It was kind of making me nervous as the drawing kept going. I think I'm not good with change sometimes, especially with a tool that I've been using for 5+ years. It makes me anxious. It makes me feel like I have no idea what I'm doing. But even so, I was able to appreciate the way this one was built after a little bit of struggling and pushing through. I really, really enjoyed the feeling of the whole tablet. Another thing that I started to notice when I was drawing is the buttons. So I mentioned this earlier about the buttons on the pen. Those of you that use digital tablets will probably know that you can set these as hotkeys or shortcuts on your pen directly. So I usually set my bottom one to erase and the top one to pan. So basically what it is you leave them pressed or you press them once and you can change tools, and it just makes things really, really convenient. So what happens is that because I have mine set to erase, one of them to set to erase and the other one to pan, I use these buttons very, very, very frequently. And when I go through tablet pens, because sometimes I drop them, I break them, or, you know, I just use them so much that I need to buy a new pen, I need to make sure that my pen has very sturdy buttons, because if not, I'm going to run through the buttons very, very quickly. And I don't know if it's the pen that I got, but the buttons are very, very low to the pen. Like if you look at it sideways, maybe I'll put a little clip of the unboxing of the pen one more time so you can see it again. There's pretty much no elevation. It almost looks like it's flat on the pen. And the more I was drawing and using these buttons, I would click. I'm not sure if you'll be able to catch it while I'm drawing on the video. Maybe you'll catch it at some points. But I try to press the erase and it just like switches back and forth, and I can't get it to stay on one mode or the other. So I start struggling and I have to start pressing the button more than once in order to get it where I want it to be. And it was pretty frustrating. But I'm going to assume that that might either just be how hard I do press these buttons pretty hard. So I'm wondering if it's just a combination of how hard I press, how often I use the pen, and how often I use the buttons, and potentially just the pen, you know, like sometimes you just get a different kind of product. I'm not sure what to call it. Wait, Justin, I don't know. And sometimes you just get, what is it called? A variance? Okay, I guess we can call it a variance. And sometimes you just get a variance in the product. I'm not sure. But that is one thing that I noticed with the pen. Otherwise, overall, I really enjoy the feel of the pen a lot. It's very airy, very light, not heavy at all. Just everything about it is bouncy. If I needed a word to describe this pen, it would be very bouncy. So we're going to continue on with the drawing. I've moved over to Photoshop. This is where I usually do most of my colors and my painting. And I've really tried to keep this drawing pretty sketchy because I didn't want to go into full-blown illustration with this. I didn't really have the time to do that, but I still wanted to create a more refined sketch. So I decided to go ahead and take my basic flat colored messy sketch and bring it into Photoshop so we can do just that. And now as I start painting, I am starting to have more issues with the pen, but of course, this time I know it's not the pen because my computer has an issue with the drivers, and so I was starting to have some glitching with, so I'm not sure if you're going to catch it, but my computer starts having some glitching with the panning and the zooming and the pen clicking, and I could not find a way for my computer to stop with the glitches. So in this segment of the drawing, it is not the pen's fault. It is just my computer not willing to cooperate. But we're trying to add the finishing kind of touches of the sketch where I can finally just start painting and fleshing everything out. At this point, I've pretty much gotten used to the tablet and I've forgotten it's a new tablet, and it really just starts to feel very, very natural. I kind of got over the scary hump of the tablet where I don't know what I'm doing. It feels really strange. I'm kind of pouting the whole time, wanting to go back to my old tablet, and I'm now fully immersed. And so I'm glad that at this point I feel this way. As you can see, the dynamism in my art starts to come out again. You'll notice here that the pen pressure in Photoshop is very much different as well. That is something that I had to get used to because Clip Studio Paint has its own pen pressure setting, and as far as I know, I didn't really adjust the pen pressure setting in Photoshop, and so I essentially had to get readjusted to the pen settings in Photoshop, and that was kind of making me slightly tilt a little bit, but otherwise it felt really, really good. And it wasn't like too bad to get into the groove and really get this drawing done. So one of the things I actually really wanted to talk about is the screen of this tablet. It's something that I learned when I was kind of checking out the specs of this tablet, and that is that this tablet has a fully laminated screen. Now, if you don't know what that means, is that most tablets have a common laminated screen, and hopefully I can explain this correctly. And if I am explaining this incorrectly, maybe somebody will help me out in the comments. But what happens is that a lot of these tablets, not this one specifically, but most tablets will have this thing where they're just, I don't know the technical term, but they're like commonly laminated, which means you have the screen, then you have kind of like this layer like of space of air, and then the actual like screen like under, like what detects the pen and everything. And what happens with that is it creates this kind of parallax, the screen parallax, which if you notice, if you've ever used a screen tablet, when you put your pen and your cursor and you look at it, depending on the angle at which you look at the screen, the cursor is going to be somewhere different. And that's because there's like this layer of space in between the two things that need to be detecting and pressing on each other. And you can kind of fix this with calibrating, but you can only calibrate so much because you can't just delete the space in between. And so what's cool about this tablet is that it has, it's completely laminated, which means there is no space in between. And so I noticed this when I was using it, and I didn't even know that it was a spec until after, and I was like, oh, that explains why. That when I was drawing, it just felt like it was directly, the cursor was directly under my pen at all times, no matter the angle that I was looking at it. And I found it so strange because I had gotten so used to my cursor being slightly off that when I used this one, it was kind of bothering me that it wasn't off. And I was like, wow, it's so incredible that that is actually a part of the technology. And I just was not aware of that because I'm not super tech savvy. But it was very cool that that is a feature of this one. And the only thing that I also read was that obviously everything has pros and cons, but because they're together like that, it's a little bit harder to replace and to handle. But otherwise, I know that there are a lot of people in which that really bothers them, that your cursor is not directly under your pen. So if you're one of those people, this tablet is for you, because sometimes that little tiny space can really just set you off and there's kind of no way to fix it. But this tablet does just that. So it was very cathartic after a while because I couldn't unsee it. And it was very, very satisfying to draw and to just know that my pen was going to be exactly where I needed it to be. So very, very cool. So now we are getting to the finishing touches of the drawing, just adding the highlights, fixing up the shapes, adding some of the extra lines to finish up the sketchy details and the form and just get everything looking like it's actually finished. And as you can see, this is more of like a painting shape loose sketch, not like my usual ones where I just focus on the line art and then I go over the top with that for 8 hours. The sketch was very fun, very loose, just lots of painting, very free drawing, as I like to call it. But we're getting towards the end, and my overall conclusion on the tablet is that I am supremely impressed. I absolutely loved the tablet. And if it weren't for the fact that I was giving it to my my good friend, I would have probably just swapped over to this tablet as my main tablet. And but she really needs a tablet. She's an amazing artist, and I was like, it's better in your hands. I already have one, but it is incredible. The quality is very, very good. The weight, the buttons on the side of the pen, the plugins of the power cables, the price point, just the care and the love that is put into the packaging, just the stand, the adapters for the plugs, the glove, just everything was incredibly impressive. It's been a long time since I've seen that much like attention put into such a product. Most of these products, you know, will do what they need to do to kind of juice you of your money and kind of be on their way. But it was really, really refreshing to see that much attention and care put into all of that. So I really enjoyed this tablet, not just for obviously the execution and in its use and practicality, but also for the attention to detail in the packaging and what they included in the packaging. So yeah, overall, I want to say I'm incredibly pleased with the tablet. And if you're looking for a tablet, I know it's going to sound like I'm paid to say this because technically I am, but I would not say this if I didn't believe it. And hopefully you guys can trust me when I say that. But this tablet is truly amazing. And if you are looking for a tablet, I can now comfortably recommend this as one. The price point is so incredibly affordable. It's very great. I basically considered it for my main tablet, like I said, if I wasn't giving it away to my friend. But yes, please check it out if you're looking for a new tablet and you need one, cheap one, very, very good. I highly recommend it. Depending on the day that I'm putting this up, it is still on special till March 19th. They are a huge discount, under $300, I think, or $400. And yeah, I would definitely check out the rest of their store. They have a lot of other products there as well, which I haven't tried those, but after trying this one, I would vouch to say they're probably just as good and maybe some better. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it. and subscribe. Join the Nippy family. The more, the merrier. Thank you again to XPPEN for sponsoring this video. It was truly an honor and a pleasure. I really, really enjoyed it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the whole process. And the links are going to be down below for all of XPPEN's things. I'll be doing a giveaway as well on Twitter for one of their tablets, so go check that out. If you guys want to go check that out, I'll include the link of that down below as well. And I will see you guys next video. Bye.